And a pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Night Moves for Monday, March 2nd. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Las Vegas. We're taking a look at the action here for Monday. We get ready for conference tournament week here. Might not be a championship week, but got some of the mid majors firing it up over here over the next couple of days. One tournament has a play-in game. I guess it really isn't officially starting on Monday if it's a play-in game, but there will be one game in college basketball. One team be going home, I guess. Hey, thank you for joining me here on the show. We're going to have a good show here. Talk about the action here for Monday, NBA, NHL, kind of a short slate, and we'll preview 5 college basketball games. We'll have a nice time and see what's going on this week in sports and sports betting. It's a pretty fun day on Sunday with the NBA, NHL, college basketball, and the other sports too. How about NASCAR? Michael Jordan. We know he was a record setter in his NBA career. He just set the record as an owner with a third win in season to start a season dating back to NASCAR's first year. That was in 1949 as Tyler Reddick fought off the challenges of Blaney for 20 laps and road course specialist Van Ginzerbergen for the final 19 laps after a restart, and Reddick wins the NASCAR race there. That was pretty good. Also, IndyCar season opener, Alex Palou, opening race victory, pole to finish. Palou has won the last 3 IndyCar championships, off to a good start. Mick Schumacher making his debut, crashed on the first lap, hit 2 cars and spun. And Will Power for Andretti hit the wall late in the race. So underway in IndyCar this season. About some of the action, though, in college basketball on Sunday. We're moving closer to these tournament games. Should be an interesting week. The first conference tournaments are up. It's going to be Indy, IU Indy, and Cleveland State tonight in the play-in of the Horizon. Cleveland State's lost its last 7 games right after they won 5 games in a row. We know Indy's an up-tempo team, but you're paying the up-tempo tax in that one. So we'll get a preview of that one later this week. The World Baseball Classic gets underway. It'll be highly competitive. Players should be in spring training, getting ready for the Major League season. So we'll see how that plays out. Gets going here in just a few days. And Bracket and Asia will have games on TV at early in the morning. So I like that. They're not playing them all in the U.S. They're all over the place. So we'll have a middle of the night baseball with some major leaguers in there on some of these teams. Gets underway on Wednesday, and then Thursday got teams like Czechia and Korea at 5 in the morning Eastern time, 2 Pacific. Now we'll be covering on Tony's Picks the World Baseball Classic, I don't think, in the picks, but we'll try to give some picks on here every day. And then it really gets going on Friday with basically 24-hour coverage. Won't go that far, but almost games almost on all the time early on from the World Baseball Classic this week. That'll get you ready to go for the Major League Baseball season. We get into March here and have some more spring training to go along with our March Madness here going on. So, all right. Some of the NBA action. Let me cover some of those games here for Sunday in our recap. James Harden, how about he scored 22 points with that broken thumb? That's an impressive performance as the Cavs there. We did Cavaliers there. That was impressive, but they didn't get the money, I don't think, in that one. They did win the game 106-102. Did have some winners here on Night Moves last night, including the New York Knicks turning it up with that defense here last night. We had the under in Milwaukee and Chicago yesterday. Also, winner here on Night Moves here last night with New Orleans and the Clippers game to go under there. Or do we have the Clippers? I better get it right here. I don't know if we had very many winners in the NBA last time. I'm trying to find them here. NHL last night. Pittsburgh rocked Vegas. This is where we had our winners. Pittsburgh rocked Vegas there last night. We had San Jose there over Winnipeg for a winner on Night Moves. Islanders over Florida, a winner as well, under with Calgary and Anaheim. I know I'll find a few winners here. Also, college basketball with those games on Sunday. Charleston over Wilmington. Now, we didn't have a winner there, but good game overtime. Charleston won at 79-76. Wilmington led by 12 at halftime, but the Seahawks out-rebounded Charleston 47-28, and Cougars made a bunch of turnovers in that one, but they did get the win 79-76. Wilmington's 14-3 in the Coastal, a half a game ahead of Charleston. Wilmington needs to win their last game over Elon to win sole possession of first place in the Coastal. Florida Atlantic over Charlotte, 77-76 in overtime to overcome a 10-point lead at halftime, and it turned out to be much of about a brick fest. Their FAU has won 3 of their last 4. Michigan State got that road win at IU. Spartans never trailed, shot 50% from 3, and there goes Indiana. They might not make the tournament here right now. Hoosiers couldn't shoot the threes. They shoot too many threes is what it is, and they can't shoot. They can't make them. Illinois State did beat Belmont 81-74. Belmont just kind of cruising in. Belmont still won the Missouri Valley by 3 games, so Belmont just trying to make sure they're ready for the conference tournament because they're going to have to win that one. Also had a winner here on Night Moves with Ohio State last night as well. Thank you for joining me here. We'll let a few people come in, then we'll start the show with our previews, but I appreciate you stopping in here to Night Moves. Hey, you can go over to Tony'sPicks.com and take a look at our premium picks. Always our best picks are over at Tony'sPicks.com. You can use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off premium pick packages, including mine here on Monday. Let's take a look at the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot over at Tony's Picks and see who had a good day on Sunday. I know I did not, but I know we have some cappers that did, including David Racy up there, 7-5. There's Mills Young. With the winner yesterday, Al Ninos. Like I said, Al gives you that winner a day and you could retire. Kevin Thomas, 2-1. Brian Bittler, 3-2. Bodun, 4-3. Joey Tron, profitable there despite a 1-1 record. Over the last 7 days, you've got David Racy up there, up almost 11 units. Stephen Duncan up over 6 units. Mills Young up over 5 3/4 units. Tony T up there, almost 3 units of profit this week. Joey Tron up nearly 2 units. Damian Sasha up nearly 2 units. DeAndre Stevenson, one of my partners here on Night Moves, up 165 for the week. Ron Hahn and Hollywood Sam in the green this week. Last 30 days, Stephen Duncan on top of the handicapper leaderboards, up 21 units. Nick Lagaretos up over 11 units. There I am, up 9 1/4 units here over the last 30 days. Joey Tron up 4 1/3 units. Mills Young up 3 2/3 units. David Racy up 3 1/2 units. And Al Ninos in the green over the last 30 days. And so far this year, Stephen Duncan up 46 1/3 units. Nick Lagaretos up nearly 22 1/2 units. Al Ninos up nearly 10 units. I'm up nearly 6 1/4 units. And Joey Tron showing profit this year as well. You can go over to Tony'sPicks.com, click on the upcoming tab. That'll give you the pick ticker. This will give you all the plays from our crew in chronological order and sold at an a la carte basis. You want that late pick, that late steam, go over to the upcoming tab and get the pick ticker here with all the plays lined up from the guys. Take a look at what they have available there right now with the action here on Monday. All right, let me say hello in the chat. Just got a few chat pros here waiting to get the show started. Want to welcome Eric Ferguson into the chat here today. Of course, Greg Gibson joins us and Cal Dog. So we've got a couple reliable guys here on a Monday. I know it's been a long week, so maybe not everyone could make it, but we're going to preview the action here for Monday. And here we go. It's a 4-game NBA card. We're going to preview them all, even if you got some crummy teams in here on a day like this. 6 games on the ice, and I've got 6 in college basketball. So I hope you're ready. And Richie Rich also joining us. Thank you, Richie Rich, coming to us from Montreal. I've been to Montreal one time. In fact, I'm so old, I went to see a hockey game at the old Montreal Forum. and they played the Toronto Maple Leafs with a bunch of fights, and Montreal won the game. I think it was 7-1 or 7-0. 7. The game I happened to go to, they scored 7. But the fights were the story. It was when, it was back in the day when you could put like 10 guys in the penalty box. I remember that though. All right, here we go, and let's get going here with our action on Monday here with the Houston Rockets are on the road here, taking on the Washington Wizards. We're back to talking about just when I thought we had gotten rid of you. It's all right. Houston comes in here 37 and 22 right now. They are in here off of a loss last time out. Houston lost at Miami, a 115-105 as a 2.5-point favorite. That kind of snapped a good run for Houston, actually. They were playing pretty well, but they ran into Miami, who got able to get a big win on them. For Washington here, yes, they're in the tankathon, but they did cover the other night. They covered 13.5 and a 9-point loss to Houston. I'm big on fading the tanking teams right now. I really think that they're going to not cover more often than not, but got to give Washington credit. In fact, I was ready to give Washington a little bit of credit. They were a team that was actually trying a little bit, and they had some covers in there a while back, probably before the All-Star break, really. But now they've officially been in official tank mode here. So still important game for Houston here in the standings right now, because Houston, they're kind of in a battle here at this point to trying to chase down the Spurs, but I don't think that's going to happen. They're 5.5 back. Really, their job is to try to stay in third place, stay ahead of the Timberwolves, try to guarantee themselves a second home series should they advance. So I think Houston does have some motivation here. They were on a good streak until that Miami game. They had wins over weak teams like Utah and Sacramento. They did beat Orlando, and we're on a bit of a cover streak. But Washington has lost 4 straight. And like I said, they did cover last one. But all right, Houston is 22-31 against the spread as a favorite. Washington's been a pretty crummy cover all year, but the first meeting was back in November, and Houston won it 135-112. Houston does kind of own the series. They've covered 6 straight meetings with Washington. They meet twice a year, Washington just 1-4 straight up, 3-6 against the spread here of late. Houston 6-3 straight up, 4-1 against the spread. Houston's gone under in 12 of their last 17 games right now, but Washington's gone over in 9 of 13, and 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone over, but Houston is 23-30 to the under as a favorite. First meeting, though, did go over in that Houston blowout. So what I do here on Night Moves is you are welcome to comment, and then I'll show your pick on the screen. Hey, your pick's as important as mine here as a member of the chat pros. So let's see what you have here in this one. Look, I'm pretty much just on these fading the teams that are kind of in tankathon mode. The danger is, you're right on that point right now. I feel like once it gets past 11, it does become a little bit of an issue. But okay, look at who else we got in here right now. It's going to be got any plays here. Cal Dogs that little parlay for us today. Andre can't lay it here with the Rockets. I'm laying it, so it doesn't matter there for me. But Andre liking the under here. LALB's joining us. He had a couple of orders of nachos today, and Cal Dogs got the over in this one. So a little discrepancy there in the chat, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to continue to roll with these teams. I am fading the teams in the tankathon. It didn't necessarily work out on Sunday. I think the tankathon teams did cover a couple of games. The Nets covered a tankathon game, and Dallas covered a tankathon game as well. But the Clippers got it done against New Orleans there, and the Lakers did get it done against the Kings. So the tankathon games were 2-2, and I'm going to take Houston here. Interesting to note that maybe on those other games that, the home team getting the points maybe just a little bit better there, but I'm still going to go with Houston. What I mean is Brooklyn was at home. They covered against the Cavs, and Dallas was at home, and they covered against the Thunder. It was still a 13-point win for the Thunder there. And like I said, the Cavs won, but only by a few points. But I'm still doing it here right now. I'm just going to go with the Rockets. All right. Rockets team total over there for LALV. Okay. All right, the Boston Celtics at the Milwaukee Bucks here, NBA action for Monday. And Boston here, 40-20 right now. Look, Milwaukee is not officially in the tankathon for me. I see a hard-trying team out there that gives you full effort every time right now with this Milwaukee lineup. Credit to them here right now. Look, they're not going to make it. I mean, it would take a whole lot of effort, and covering doesn't get you wins in the win column, right? They're still losing the game somewhat and only covering because they're getting enough points. So that's kind of where it stands right now when it comes to the Bucks. They're hard trying. They're not giving up. That's for sure. They keep covering spreads. Hey, that's what you want. Obviously, we're trying to cash, but they're currently in 11th place in the East, 5 games back of Miami. So they're not going to do it. They would have to pass teams like the Hornets and the Hawks as well, just to try to catch and pass the Heat. But that doesn't mean that they aren't covering a bunch of spreads there of late. Now, they did fail in the last 2 games against New York and against Chicago yesterday. Embarrassing, actually, for them. I take everything back I just said. But they had been covering quite a bit, but Chicago did put one over on them there yesterday. So Boston, though, still monster cover. I mean, 20-11 against the spread on the road, 25-19 against the spread as a favorite, and they've been covering for real. Covers over Brooklyn and Philadelphia yesterday in that game, 114-98. Philly just did start to come back a little bit there. Boston started to pull away. Philadelphia kept battling, kind of came back. We're inside the number there for a moment, and then pulled away there at the finish with Neemias Queta, who was throwing down a little bit, and a good job by Boston. So they've been covering some numbers here. Boston 6-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 games overall. Milwaukee 8-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 12 games overall here. Boston's gone under in 13 of 16. 6 straight meetings between these 2 teams have gone under, and these 2 teams are combined 47-72 to the under this season. They are hardcore unders, especially Boston, 11-20 to the under on the road, 16-28 to the under as a favorite. So see what you got here with this one. Anything in the chat? These 2 teams did meet earlier in February. I guess it's March now. Back in February, 107-79. The Celtics smacked them at home, really crushed them. But that might have been in revenge for a Bucks win at home, 116-101 back mid-November, mid-December. They also played early December, 111-105. Boston got the win at home, but did not cover. Okay, let's see. Oh, that was okay. No, it's only the 3rd meeting of the season right now. Okay, gotcha. They're 1-1. Thanks, you guys. Here we go. See if we got any comments in this one. Cal Dogs on the Celtics here. Andre says the Celtics play defense, so I got to go under here. I mean, they not only they just go under. Period. Sports fans here go with Brown over rebounds and assists, and LALB's got me going to get McMuffins today. All right, I'm going with the under as well with the Celtics and the Bucks. Of course I am. Both meetings did go under this season considerably, especially since Milwaukee only scored 79 points on them last time. Like I said, I'm not really disappointed with the way Milwaukee's going, but we'll see. They're just about to get into, the mode where they are going to be. They're pretty much done. But all right, Cal Dog likes the under. LALB likes the under, and Andre just likes the way this Celtics team is playing right now. It just look, they're going to be a factor. like I said, could we see Jason Tatum actually come back somewhere down the line here in time for the postseason? Celtics still trail Pistons by 5.5 games, but as long as they stay ahead of the Knicks, I mean, they're going to be in good position. LALV says that's kind of a consensus play here by the chat to go under. Yep. Okay, the Nuggets are at the Jazz here, and again, you got you got a tankathon game here, but Utah's actually covered a few spreads here in the tankathon of late. They might not qualify anymore. They got covers against Boston and OKC and another, team trying to fight into the playoffs, Portland. They did lose at home last time to Minnesota. It was a very comparable team right now to Denver in the standings. Two teams are kind of battling for position right now. But Denver here did get covered. Now, Utah here has been a disaster of late. I was talking about Denver's ability to cover some of the games against Boston there and OKC. Ramon's a little off tonight. Utah hasn't come close to covering right now in the last 3 weeks. Let me get the official numbers here. 5 straight games, Utah's failed to cover right now. They're 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games at home. Denver has won and covered 7 straight meetings against the Utah Jazz. So I don't think I can put the Utah Jazz on the fade list here. I think I'm more just interested in taking Denver to beat Utah and crushing them. I didn't realize I thought Utah was hanging in there in a couple of these games. Maybe I was thinking because they played New Orleans and they were down 25 there the other night, and they actually came back to cover the second half spread in that one. Let me see what you guys got. All right. Andre says Joker to get 30 plus. Sports Fan says Nuggets team total over. And look, LAOB right behind him. So that's interesting. Both guys, Nuggets team total over here. I'm laying it with the Nuggets for sure. I'm in the tankathon here. Give me the Nuggets on the road. Hardaway for 2 threes, says Andre there. Denver's gone over in 10 of its last 14. 10 of the last 14 games, though, between these two teams have gone under. They just went under in their last meeting back in December, 135 to 112. Denver got the win and cover in that one. Like I said, they've been covering them all here. So give me Denver to roll here in this one. Is it only 11 right now? All right. Markkanen is out for Utah again, so all right, I'll lay it. I'm laying it. Cal Dog's laying it too. Andre likes the over. Says the Jazz play no defense. Well, these two teams are over teams big time. They're combined 72 and 47 to the over this season. Denver's 23-10 to the over on the road, and Utah's 21-10 to the over at home. Denver's 26-13 to the over as a favorite, and Utah's 31-21 to the over as a dog. 243 for a reason. Might want to get it before it goes up. I'm showing 244 here now at some books. All right, I'm on Denver, though, in the tankathon. Next up, Clippers at Warriors. NBA action here for Monday. And this is almost a playoff intensity game or playoff, I don't want to say atmosphere. I mean, these two teams are probably not going to do much. Clippers aren't even in the playoffs yet, but they are in 9th place. They're right now 2.5 games behind the Warriors. The Warriors just learned today that Steph Curry is going to be out for 5 more games right now. That's bad timing. Especially when when there's only 22 games left in the season and you're trying to battle for the playoffs. Now the Warriors are in right now in 8th place, but you've got the Clippers on their heels. The Blazers are in it too, but the Clippers have just feels like, all that momentum that the Clippers have had. Yeah, they've lost some games here of late, but they did wise up and beat New Orleans there last night, 137 to 117. They crushed them in that one. Warriors, meanwhile, lost to the Lakers there the other night, 129 to 101. So they were all upset, and Draymond was yelling at somebody while Steph was like, what am I doing with my life? Clippers are 17 and 14 against the spread on the road, but just 12 and 16 against the spread as a favorite. Warriors are 8 and 11 against the spread as an underdog here. Golden State's just won 2 of their last 6, or 2 and 6 ATS in their last 8. Clippers 7 and 1 against the spread in their last 8 games overall, and they've dominated. The Golden State Warriors winning 8 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams and covered 7 of those 8 games. So I got to go with the Clippers here to keep it going and to try to catch these Warriors right now here for the postseason. The Clippers, look, they got off. They were playing. They had a bad start to the season. Made a big trade, of course. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but Clippers have gone over in 4 of 5, and Golden State's gone over in 6 of 7. Golden State's 20 and 11 to the over at home. And yes, it's a Clippers game, so sometimes they do go under, but Clippers still 17 and 14 to the over on the road. The last time they met, though, was an under back in January, 103-102. It was Clippers winning that one at home as an underdog. All right, might get some plays here from the chat, but I'm going to take the Clippers in this one. All right, here is Andre likes the unders and the Clippers on the money line. LALB likes the Clippers here. Cal Dog likes the over. And want to say hello and welcome to Miss Smokes a Lot joining us here in the chat. Says the line is small for some reason. Nice to have you, Miss Smokes a Lot. Andre says Garland are going to make that debut. Gosh, that's going to be great if we talk about that trade, right? And we've been anticipating here the return of Garland. He is reported as probable and available for this game. Now, John Collins still has that arm injury, but like I said, Steph Curry out, of course, of this game. So Will Richard out, KP is out as well. And Green was looking kind of goopy out there again. Okay, I'm going to go with the Clippers in that one. All right, let's go to college basketball if we can here. Let's keep the basketball theme going. Like I said, let me find the right game here. We're going to go first to the added board here and look at game here in the MEAC, I believe. First up with Norfolk State and Morgan State. All right, let me get into it here with the MEAC standings right now. Norfolk and Morgan are tied for second place with 8-4 records. There are 2 games left in the season for all teams. So Howard leads by 1 game, and one of these teams is going to end up with a win. Now, Howard does play Coppin. They should win that game handily. They're pretty big favorites there. Should win by, 20 or so, I think the spread is. Let's see here. Thought I saw it in there, 19. So they should win. So one of these teams is still going to have a chance to win the league or to share the league title anyway, but you've got to win this game. Should mention that Howard does play Norfolk on the last game of the season, and Norfolk is a slight favorite here. So we're going to have some fun here in the MEAC this week before their conference tournament gets underway. Norfolk is on fire right now. They've come in here 15 and 14 overall, but they've been cleaning up here of late. Morgan State Bears, meanwhile, come in off of a loss to Howard, 84-59. Before that, they were pretty much on fire, but Morgan State has not ever, they don't fare well against, Norfolk does not fare well against Morgan State. They failed to cover in 6 straight meetings against the Bears, actually, but Norfolk is 5-0 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. However, Morgan State's still gone 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 8-1 against the spread in their last 9, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games at home. The two teams met already, and the Bears won that one 79-78 on the road as a 7.5-point dog. So I think Morgan just has these guys' number. A pretty high total here for sure, but Morgan's gone over in 9 of their last 10, and Norfolk's gone over in 7 of their last 10. So I think you're going to see a pretty high-scoring game, probably well over the 155. I'll take Morgan State here, though, plus some points at home here against Norfolk. Norfolk might hopefully get the attention with that winning streak right now. But, again, I think Morgan go a little bit to the season series here a little bit in this one, as they usually cover the spread against them. So I'm going to take Morgan here. They're still pretty hot, and I'll take them at home. All right, and Andre says take Morgan plus the points. Sprinkle the money line. LALB's on the under, however, in this one. And Cal Dog says Morgan at home. Richie Rich is going to ride with me when it comes to the MEAC. And like I said, one more, we have one more big game, I guess, coming up in that league before we get to the conference tournament there. Next up, going to have a few good ones here, a few big ones today, a couple of them. With Duke, number 1 Duke taking on NC State. Duke right now just looks absolutely terrific, of course, 27-2. They did it again here over UVA. They're smashing these opponents right now, laying double digits, covering pretty much every time. 7-3 against the spread on the road. NC State underdogs for just the 5th time this season. Interesting. NC State, they've had a pretty good year. It doesn't feel like NC State has beaten anybody they're supposed to. I think that's what it's come down to a little bit here. They're 10-6 overall in conference play, 19-10 coming in overall. So look, I think NC State is going to be able to make the tournament and get in there. I think they're a pretty good team. I know they're trending down a little bit, but they're in there right around the 8 line or so, according to the bracketology right now. So, pretty good team. I mean, you got to figure the bubble's got to burst somewhere for Duke. Not necessarily losing the game, but gosh, can they keep just crushing all these teams and even on the road and just making a mockery of it? They're coming in here with 4 straight covers over Syracuse, Michigan, Notre Dame, and UVA. But NC State's actually been struggling here. They lost to Notre Dame the other night, 96-90 is a 6.5-point favorite. I was on the Irish in that one. They got blown out by UVA. They did hammer Carolina at home, but rivalry game or whatever. Before that, they lost to Miami. They lost to Louisville. They've really been not covering very well here right now, talking about the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Wolfpack just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games overall, 1-4 straight up. Duke has won 6 straight, but usually they're just favored by too many points against NC State. That's a fact. They're just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 meetings against the Wolfpack, including a meeting back here last year at Duke, 74-64 in their only meeting last year. Duke was favored by 22.5. So look, NC State here, they've gone under in 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams, and Duke has gone under in 8 of their last 10. We know Duke can really slow you down this year. I mean, Duke is kind of pretty much an under team here. They are 9-20 to the under this season, 7-16 to the under as a favorite. Even though NC State does trend over, when you get them at home and as an underdog, it is more of an under every time. For example, they're 17-12 to the over this season. However, just 8-9 to the under at home, and 2 overs and 2 unders as an underdog. I'm going to take the under in this one with Duke and NC State. Give me the under here in this one. NC State has gone over in 8 of 11. Okay, here comes some of the plays right now. It's going to be Andre says Duke money line or against the spread. Cal Dog says Duke and the over. Andre says and the under. Boozer for a double here. LALB on the under. And maybe North Carolina first half, says Richie Rich. Hey, you're going to be able to get 5.5 there probably. Maybe 6. All right. Andre says maybe got some Boozer props in there. You know, Boozer, a lot of times, I don't want to say it anymore because some of these Duke guys are starting to look pretty good. Remember, Duke had always been the team that didn't produce too many pros, and maybe more in the, I won't say the NIL era, but the transfer area. They did start to develop a few more guys. But I think Boozer's going to be a can't miss just because of the pedigree. I think that's what's key with Boozer. I think that's what will make him a pro, I think, for a good long time. Eventually, we know he's got a ways to go. Okay. Not too far, but, we're getting to the postseason here this year, and Duke's going to be right there. Okay, next up. Stephen F. Austin at Incarnate Word. Let's go to the Southland here. Look, Stephen F. Austin is the story here because they can finally clinch it here with a win. McNeese is a team that we've talked about here for several years, right? But Stephen F. Austin is a team that has kind of continued to be the standout team this year. Right now, I mean, Stephen F. Austin coming in here in first place by 1 game. There's 1 game left in the season. McNeese does play Nichols. Should be able to handle Nichols, although it is on the road. And Stephen F. Austin is on the road, too. Stephen F. Austin's laying 8 points here, but, man, they're just a terrific cover. And Incarnate Word is not very good at covering spreads. McNeese is at Nichols. They're favored by 11, so they should win, but all Stephen F. Austin has to do is win to win the Southland Conference regular season title. The winner of the tournament will still be the team to make it to the postseason. And that's too bad for one of these two teams because they're both pretty outstanding. I mean, Stephen F. Austin's 26-4 and McNeese is 25-5, and if you don't win that tournament, you're not going to the NCAA tournament. But that's just the way it goes. Instead, we'll get some, 500 team from the SEC. That's okay. They probably would beat the pants off these guys, but it's no fun. All right, here we go. Stephen F. Austin, only 21-7 against the spread this season. Against the spread. 11-3 against the spread on the road. Incarnate Word's 10-17 against the spread, just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. They met back in January, but it was only 56-46. Stephen F. Austin won at home in a very low-scoring game there. They also played unders in a couple games last season as well. The last 3 games have been total unders with these two teams since Incarnate Word has joined the conference here. And this one's going to go under too, believe me. But Stephen F. Austin, they should crush them here. So, I don't know. I like them both. I like both these plays pretty strong. Kind of a toss-up here. I might have to roll the dice. Let's see what you like. If you like anything in this one between Stephen F. Austin and Incarnate Word, I'll go to the chat and see what they have to say. Stephen F. Austin's covered 15 of their last 20. They've won 14 of 15 overall. They've also won 14 of the last 17 meetings between these two teams, although that is a sample size that goes way back. Like I said, really the ones I'm concerned with are just these last 3 games that they played against one another. There was a span of several years where they didn't play. Stephen F. Austin, though, not only are they crushing Incarnate Word, like I said, exactly the opposite right now. 4-12 straight up in their last 16, 3-13 against the spread in their last 8 games overall. They've gone under in 6 of their last 8. I'm going to take Stephen F. Austin to crush here on the road and win the conference championship. But like I said, if you want to look at the total as well or maybe play another, I like the under, actually. All right, let's see if you guys, anybody on Word? SFA for Cal Dog. SFA. Andre says that Incarnate Word will be getting enough points here. I was wondering why it's not 16 points, to be honest with you. I know Incarnate Word's been okay here, 9-5 straight up at home. They've won some conference games at home. They beat Lamar last time out by 12, but they lost some home games too. They lost to New Orleans at home. They lost to Nichols at home. You don't go losing to the New Orleans Privateers at home, okay? SFA first half here, says Richie Rich. Yeah, you're probably going to be laying 5.5 there, I would think. LALB likes the under. And Andre says, well, this one's moving the other way. All right. Incarnate Word has not really done a great job. They're 3-11 straight up as an underdog. All right, I'm going to take SFA. All right, let's go to. Whoops, I'm sorry. Let me go to the. I think I went out of order here, actually. I want to go to the conference tournament play-in game here. Sorry about that. I think I might have jumped the gun there a little bit with that Incarnate Word game. That game is at 4:30. Oh, this one's at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Let me go to it. This is the Horizon League play-in game, so it's not officially a tournament game. I'm nitpicking here, but Cleveland State favored against IU Indianapolis. At least the storyline is pretty easy here. If you haven't seen IU Indianapolis this season, a lot of people maybe tuning in for the first time, and they might have heard of them, of course. I mean, they're one of the top tempo teams in the country this year. That's what they kind of specialize in. They're fourth in adjusted tempo. They do try to, but they haven't. It hasn't resulted in a ton of overs. At first, there were a few, and when they got to conference play, the adjustments were made a little bit. Some opponents knew how to combat it a little bit. Plus, they're just not very good. It helps to be good if you're going to play a certain style like that. This is someone who, I don't know, I'm old. I used to watch a team called United States International University, and they played back in the 1970s. And they were like Loyola Marymount before they were Loyola Marymount. They had a guy named Bradshaw who was averaging, 37, 40 points a game, and they would go out there and score 170 points a game with absolutely zero defense. I was going to say zero conscience. But IU's been trying that this year, and it hasn't really been successful. They're 7-27. These guys are in the play-in game for a reason. Cleveland is at home. They weren't very good either. They were 10-21. IU Indy 7-24. But Cleveland hasn't been covering. IU Indy has at least had a couple of covers here before the last couple of games of the season. If anything, maybe they have played a little bit better than Cleveland State here down the stretch. But Cleveland State's still going to be favored. And you see the number. You see the 171.5 here, and that's what IU Indy does. IU Indy is 1-14 straight up in their last 15 games against Cleveland State. Now, Cleveland State has been a lot better recently than they were this season. But IU Indy did win this year. In fact, it was about 3 weeks ago, 82-74 at home as a 2.5-point favorite. Cleveland State's lost 7 straight. They failed to cover in all 7 of those games. They're just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 at home, losing to teams like NKU, Fort Wayne, and Wright State, and not coming close to the spread as an underdog even. Here they're actually favored for just the third time this season. They are 1-2 straight up and against the spread as a favorite. However, IU Indy is 3-19 straight up as an underdog. Although those spreads are much higher, they're still just 2-14 against the spread on the road. At least Cleveland State is 6-8 straight up at home. I hope I said that right. IU Indy 2-4 straight up on the road. Cleveland State does have 6 straight up wins at home. So they, just the fact that they own the season, the series history 14-1, it's got to throw me into the Cleveland State column here, I think. IU Indy has had the covers here of late, even though they failed against Oakland and Fort Wayne as home dogs. They did cover the 3 previous games against Wright, Fort Wayne, and NKU. So very interesting here, but I'm going to take Cleveland State. They own IU Indy. If you have another thing to look out for, I don't know, I try to, be, correct everybody. Like I know better than anybody, but you might still see this team as IUPUI. They officially changed their name to IU Indy this year. You should crack on your sports book and tell them to put the right name up there. Okay, IU Indy. It was the former IUPUI, but you know what? That IUPUI, you're talking about Indiana University, Purdue University. They want a little more identity. So the Jaguars. All right, let's see what you have in the chat. And as far as this total, look, I think it's a little bit much ado about nothing. I think it's too high, and this is going to be now like this is the game for these guys. They're going to go on and probably lose the next round. This is it. Here we go. Cleveland State for Andre. And Kyle Dawson, the last game they won was against Cleveland State. Oh, my goodness. That was, what did I say, 3 weeks ago? LALB says, like I said, they covered some spreads. Cleveland hasn't been covering, but Cleveland State here, Andre says, it's going to be a 1-possession game. I can make fun. I can have some fun with Andrew. It's not going to be a 1-possession game. It's going to be a 150-possession game. Okay. Cleveland State at home. They at least have covered, he said, some of these. I don't know if that's right. Cleveland has covered that 1.5. They lost at home to NKU 81-70. Oh, maybe when they're favored by 1.5. But, I mean, how many years has that gone on? I don't know. That one seems weird, LALB, because they haven't won any games at home. And if it's just the fact that whenever they're favored by 1.5, I mean, when are they favored by 1.5 anymore? Cal Dog likes the under here. I agree with that. I think, look, Cleveland's. It's funny. IU Indy's this team with the number 4 rated adjusted tempo in the country. They're like a team that's out of control with their tempo. They're 12-17 to the under this season. Meanwhile, Cleveland State, they're 17-11 to the over. Like, hey, we're the team that plays the up tempo. So, okay, Cleveland State, though, has gone under in their last 2 games. Okay. Okay. All right, and LALB here says Cleveland State is a consensus too. Yeah, look, I think I'd rather take Cleveland State than the under. There's every chance in the world that Indy's just, this also could be their chance to get more eyeballs on this game here, start of the tournament. It's a host site though. It's not a neutral site game, so I don't know. I don't think there'll be much of a home crowd there, although the Cleveland State fans are great. It's been a bad year for Cleveland State. Okay. Now, let me go back to the other here with decent one here. Let's see. Iowa State, they've been, really falling fast, and we're going against this Arizona team right now that seemingly cannot be stopped. Maybe they can catch them napping a little bit here. The number 2 team in the country. Iowa State will not be ranked 4th here come morning or soon, in a few hours here when the poll is released, because they've had some losses here. Loss to Texas Tech on Saturday in that home game, 82-73. So they're going to fall by the wayside here a little bit and tumble down right now. Arizona, meanwhile, everything continues to look great after the win over KU. They beat them by 23, easily covered in that one. They've won 4 straight. Arizona here with wins over KU, Baylor, Houston, and BYU. Iowa State, though, lost to BYU as well. Look, they covered against Utah and blew them out on the road. Upset Houston, of course, but Houston's been tumbling, and had that nice win over KU as well. So I think people are just a little bit concerned, losing. They were favored in that game at BYU. That's still a tough place for them, but I think just the fact they lost to Texas Tech. But even though Texas Tech was without their star player in that game, Texas Tech got some pretty good personnel there. It almost seems like they can function a little bit still without Toppin right now. So I'll probably just go with the under, though, in this game with these two teams. You've got an Iowa State team here, 8-1 to the under on the road. Arizona's gone under in 7 of its last 10. This is only the second time all season that Iowa State's been an underdog here. Iowa State comes into this game right now having gone 15-5 straight up in their last 20. They've gone under in 12 of their last 16, under in 5 straight on the road, 2-6 to the under last 8 conference games here. Arizona's gone under in 4 of its last 5 and under in 6 straight at home. I got to go with the under here. Arizona, they might be able to, but like I said, Iowa State's, they bounced back after they lost to BYU and won at Utah on the road. This is a different entity, a different situation entirely, but all right, let's go to the chat. Hope you're enjoying Night Moves with me here tonight, even though my notes might have been a little bit screwed up here today. Maybe I've been watching too much of the war coverage. Okay, LALB's on the under here. Cal Dogs on Arizona. And Andre says Arizona money line and the under here in this one. All right, I got one more in college basketball here tonight. And it's, let's take a look here in the Big Sky with Weber State and Portland State. Now, situation here currently in the Big Sky, Portland State, they have been falling apart. They were having, one of their best seasons here, getting all excited with this team right now. But all of a sudden, they've started to read their press clippings or realize they just probably weren't all that. But they do get a chance here hosting Weber at home. They're 12-5 right now, can win the conference title with a victory against Weber State. Montana State and Eastern Washington are both 11-6. They could win, and if Portland State were to lose this game, they could share the title. Montana State comes in today. They're going to be playing Northern Arizona. They're favored on the road. Eastern Washington, meanwhile, comes in. They'll be taking on Idaho. They are also favored at home. So those two teams are expected to win. Portland State also is expected to win. That's all they have to do is win. I'll just, the spreads are kind of modest here for sure in all 3 of these games. So nothing is certain, especially the way Portland State has been playing. Weber State's been doing a good job. They're not going to, they're 10-7. But they've won 3 straight coming into this game. Portland State's lost 3 straight. Portland State back-to-back losses here to Eastern Washington, Montana State, and Montana. And for Weber here, wins over Montana State, Montana, and Idaho State. So Weber swept the Montana teams at home. Portland State lost to the Montana teams on the road, but still, just comparing opponents there a little bit as just trying to kind of explain that Portland State has been, in a bit of a tailspin. They can still salvage it all right here with a win as a favorite. They only have to win the conference title. And again, in this league, you got to win the conference tournament to advance. Weber State's 5-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 6 games overall. Weber comes in 13-6. Against the spread on the road, their last 19, dating back to last season. Portland State just 1-4 straight up against the spread in their last 5. The only win they had was against Idaho, 77-67, and they covered 3.5. 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Portland State's gone under in 10 of its last 14, but Weber's gone over in 4 of 5. Portland State is 4-11 to the under as a favorite, 3-7 to the under at home. Let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat here, the Big Sky. Can Portland just win? Just win, baby. Let's see what you guys have here. Then I'll make my call. All right, we've got Weber for Andrew. Or, some people say Weber, even though we know it's weird, but that'd be it's Andre. Forgot. Sorry, Andre. Haven't done that in a long time. Cal Dog's on Weber here, and LALB's on Portland State money line, which makes sense, right, given the situation that I've mentioned here. All right. I think Weber's got the momentum right now. I'm going to take Weber State here to get this one over Portland State. Give me Weber State. Look, they have the experience of, like I said, for Portland State. Look, they were good last year, no doubt about it. They finished well, but they ended up losing the first game in the Big Sky tournament last season. You got a team like Weber coming in here. Weber has plenty of experience. I know that things hadn't been going good for Weber last year, but I think this one they can hang in there. I'm going to take Weber. Two teams met in January. Portland State won it 95-90 on the road. That's it for college basketball here. Thank you to the chat. Let's go to the NHL now, where we have a 6-game card here on Monday. And we'll start it off here. Note the game time here. Your schedule might not even have the right game time. This game is Red Wings at Predators, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. local time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And just to set everybody off that loves to critique what every league is doing, they said, we're moving the game time here so people in Europe can watch it in prime time. I'm not kidding. Now, Nashville has some players that obviously people like to be interested in, but just interesting that they said that and they moved it. It wasn't like a game. I don't think it was. It's been scheduled for this time for quite a while, but I don't think it was at the beginning of the season anyway. Detroit's on the road here taking on Nashville. Detroit's $1.15, total 6/20. It looks like right now Detroit comes in 34, 20 and 6. Nashville 27, 24 and 8 here. Detroit's been okay, I think, on the road here this season. They're up 3 1/4 units here so far. Meanwhile, for Nashville, been a break-even proposition at home, 16, 12 and 3 overall. Coming into this one, Detroit's been alternating wins and losses, and they come in off of a loss to Carolina last time out. They opened the rest of the season here with a win over Ottawa 2-1. Detroit has lost 9 of their last 13 games against Nashville. Nashville's won 5 of the last 6 meetings at home against the Red Wings. Detroit's just 2-5 straight up in their last 7, although Nashville has lost 8 of their last 12 overall. Nashville's gone over in 6 of their last 7, but Detroit's gone under in 6 of their last 9 and under in 4 of their last 5 overall. Under in 6 of 9 on the road, under in 4 of their last 5 overall. These two teams met back in November. Nashville won at 6-3 at Detroit. Nashville's been just 15-26 as an underdog here this season. Nashville's also 18-13 to the over at home, but Detroit's 9-16 to the under on the road. All right, let's see how you got this one with Detroit and Nashville here. Day game or mid-afternoon game. It's hockey. It's the hockey segment. Nobody's willing to take a stab here with this matchup. All right. I'm going to take the Nashville Predators here at home against Detroit. At least they've beaten this team up pretty good here at home. 1-5 in the last 6 meetings between the two teams at home. Although Detroit, it was the last game that Detroit actually won here, but it was last season. So give me Nashville here. LALB does like a draw, and Cal Dog likes it to go under. And I want to say hello and welcome to Kevin McNamara in the chat. McNamara's band is here, and he likes the Red Wings to win this one 3-2. Thank you, Kevin. Great to have you here as a member of the chat pros. Thanks for commenting. Columbus Blue Jackets and New York Rangers. Well, you know what? The New York Rangers, they won. Okay, they won the last game. They pulled it out of their with the win over Pittsburgh. That didn't look like they were going to do it, just because we know how they've been going, especially at home. They've not been good. It's been a problem with the Rangers at home. I mean, it's been something very, very notable this season. They're just 7-15. Straight up at home. Blue Jackets are 15-5 as a favorite, just 14-13 on the road, but still, I mean, good on the Rangers. Maybe they will turn it around. I mean, they're pretty much in last. They got to turn around sometime. It's pretty much too late as it is. Columbus, meanwhile, they're definitely competing here for the playoffs. They're not in right now, but they could be in if they keep it up. And they're just out of it here right now by a few points. They've got to keep winning. They've been playing well, no doubt about it. Did lose their last two. I just mean well in general over the last month or two here after the first of the year. It just feels like Columbus has played well enough. They've won 5 of their last 6 on the road, won 11 of their last 14 overall. They do struggle against the Rangers, just 1-5 straight up against New York. But the Rangers have lost 7 of 9 at home, like always, 1-5 straight up in their last 6. Columbus has gone under in 4 of their last 6 games. Rangers have gone under in 4 of their last 5, and 5 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Seems like it would be an under here, especially with the Rangers 8-19 to the under at home. Although Columbus, we talked about their success as a favorite, they also are 13-7 to the over as a favorite. I'm just going to take the Columbus Blue Jackets here to win. I'm still going to go against the Rangers when they're at home at this point. Give me Columbus on the road against the Rangers. All right. Kevin, he's heard that all his life. Oh, boy. All right, Kevin, you got me. Here we go. Andre's on the wings. And Kevin loves Columbus because the Rangers have been terrible at home. Kevin's going to fit right in with the chat pros. Andre likes the Yellow Jackets here. And Kevin has some favorite teams for the late drive of the season. Rangers for LALB. And, yeah, it is a good and a great story. I mean, with the, Johnny Hockey. I read that story today about his parents. They were kind of reluctant to partake in the Olympic experience, still in mourning, but yet wanted to be there with so many people who liked the Droz. And look, it just turned out to be a good story. Cal Dog Rangers and under, and here's LALB leaning to the under as well. All right, I'll just take the Columbus Blue Jackets. Flyers on the road here, taking on Toronto. Pretty closely rated game here. Toronto, $1. The line's wrong there. That's just a typo. Let me fix that. I'll call it $1.30. I think I was supposed to say $1.25 originally, but I think it's actually gone up to $1.35 here at some books right now. But do have here the Maple Leafs favored over the Flyers. Flyers 27-21-11. Toronto 27-24-9. Coming into this one, Toronto, they're probably going to be left out of the postseason here. And for Philadelphia, they're on the outside looking into. They might be a little bit closer right now, but these teams got to pick it up. At least Philadelphia has won 2 in a row here over the Rangers and Boston. They're 2-1 out of the break. Toronto, though, meanwhile, they're 0-3 so far out of the break. It doesn't feel like they're getting it going. The one thing they got going for them is they do dominate the Philadelphia Flyers here over the last couple of seasons. Toronto has won 5 straight against Philly overall, but Toronto's lost 6 straight at home. They're 3-9 in their last 12. Philadelphia just 5-13 in their last 18. This game shouldn't even be in the previews if we weren't desperate for betting opportunities tomorrow. Philadelphia has gone under in 6 straight, although they've gone over in 9 of their last 12 on the road. They're 25-15 to the over as a dog. Toronto's 19-13 to the over at home and 18-13 to the over. 18-10 to the over as a favorite. 8 of the last 11 meetings have gone over as well. So look, Toronto does dominate Philly. Can they get one over on them this time and use that to their advantage and kind of snap out of this losing streak? Well, Philadelphia at least has won a couple of games here. Let me just take the over in this one. It's going to be 3-3 somewhere in there, and I'll take the over with Toronto and Philadelphia. Might be a toss-up, which actually would be a game where you'd probably take Philly because you get a little plus money. But like I said, Toronto 6 straight at home against Philly, 5 straight overall against Philly. When the teams met back in January, it was 2-1. Toronto won at Philly, and back in November, Toronto won at Philly 5-2. So the 2 meetings this year that Toronto won were already on the road, and now they're back here at home. Toronto hasn't been dismal at home. They're 16-10 at home. So, yeah, we're talking bad about them a little bit, and Philadelphia is just 14-26 as an underdog. It's just that Philadelphia has a little bit of minor momentum here over the last couple of games that maybe they could get by them here. But see what you got here in the chat. And, yeah, Kevin, and that was a great moment also with the kids out there and the jersey. Leafs here for LALB. And Cal Dog likes Toronto. I think that, that whole situation, yes, it was a hotly contested game, but I think it all kind of came together at that point. That, total respect for the, Canadian team. Anybody could have won, the U.S., they won. Okay, great. But hockey was the winner. I know that's so cliche. It makes me feel like hockey was the winner, but if anybody, I knew people who don't watch hockey that watched those games and came away saying, and if anything, right, we kind of get I want to say a more truer form of the sport, less, I don't know, it was less physical. I mean, it was physical, but didn't really have too much. The fighting, the incidents in the Olympics were kind of real, right? But they couldn't go overboard. So it was kind of interesting. Okay, next up, we got the Hurricanes taking on the Kraken here. And look, Hurricanes, big favorite on the road. But I don't know, don't sleep on the Kraken, it feels like, in this one right now. Look, the Hurricanes are, looking great here. The Eastern Conference, who knows what's going to happen. Hurricanes are on a roll. I mean, they've already won a couple games here out of the All-Star break over good teams, Tampa Bay and Detroit, to extend that winning streak. But Seattle, they just beat Vancouver. I know that's an easy game. They did lose to Dallas and St. Louis, but man, you know what? Well, let's see what you got here. I'm sure we should take the Hurricanes here. They're on the road, but I don't know if I'm gonna. Seattle is 15-9-5 at home right now, and this has been a great run for the Hurricanes. You can't win them all, can you? For Carolina here, they do come in right now. Easily on top of the standings here. Only the Avalanche have a better record than the Carolina Hurricanes, 15-7-4 on the road. I just maybe have a problem with $1.80 here. I might just take Seattle on the puck line. I think they're might be a little bit high on this line here. Let me see what it is. Plus 1.5 at man. What is it, minus $1.35 or 40 here? Oh, boy. All right, let's just see what these guys are up to. For Carolina here, of course, we said they won 5 straight. They've also won 6 of the last 8 meetings against Seattle. Seattle's won 6 of 9, won 5 of their last 6 at home. 7 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams have gone under. I don't know. Let me go to the chat. Help. Good game. See what the chat pros have in this one, though. No doubt this Carolina team is unstoppable, it seems like. But Okay, here we go. Kraken here for Cal Dog. Kraken for crack. There's LALB with that puck line there, and yeah, you got to lay a little bit there with them. Oh boy. Okay, I guess I got to make my call here on this one. I want to take Seattle here. I'll take them on the puck line. I'll just take a little insurance there, like Cal Dog said. Give me Seattle. That feels like the least confident play of the day. All right, next up, we've got the Stars taking on the lowly Canucks. Here in this one, Dallas comes in 36, 14, and 8. As things kind of shake out in the Western Conference, here we are again with the Dallas Stars. Yeah, you'll have to, deal with Colorado. You'll have to deal with Vegas here. But Dallas is back to winning, and they're against this Canucks team that they're haven't come close here for several games right now. For Vancouver here, they hung in there against the Winnipeg team at home, just got beat by Seattle, blasted by Vegas, crushed by Utah. Right now, I got to think Dallas just covers them on the puck line. Now, Dallas is a terrible puck line favorite, 11-33. That's not going to get it done. But Vancouver, 26-22 is a puck line dog. That's probably even worse. So I'll just take Dallas here to roll these guys on the puck line, and Dallas will win this one probably 4-2, 5-2 here. This is just going to be a square pick maybe. I just can't see it right now. Dallas on a roll. Vancouver seems to be hitting new lows every game here at this point. It was a tough one there for Dallas last time out over Nashville, 3-2 in overtime, but they did win. I'm just taking them on the puck line, though, here. All right, let's see here. And Cal Dog, Dallas on the puck line. What are you going to do, All right, next up, one more here. Thank you for joining me on Night Moves. It's the Avalanche and the Kings. Well, you know what? Surprise, surprise, surprise. I was really surprised that the Kings were able to look so good in that game there the other night. I know they were playing Calgary, but they shut them out. They hadn't beaten anybody here. They were 0-2 out the break, and they were actually on a pretty long on a modest losing streak before they won over Calgary. Kings have lost 5 of 6 coming in for Colorado here. They've won 5 of the last 6 games over the Kings. They've already beat them here back in December, 5-2. Crushed them, actually. Colorado's 13-7 straight up in their last 20. They've won 4 of 6 overall. Kings have gone under in 10 of their last 15. Colorado's gone under in 4 of their last 6. Kings are just 2-7 at home against these guys in the last 9 meetings between the two. So it's just been, not a great series for the Kings here. I know it's $1.65 or so here with the Avalanche on the road. Pretty big price, but I'd probably just prefer to lay it. Oh man, it's up to $1.75 here actually right now. Also, I see the line here. I didn't know Seattle was minus $1.70 on that puck line. I don't think I've done that all season. I guess I don't want to change it. I'm not going to change it here. We're also just starting to deal with a little bit of late season numbers, hijinks, if you will. I don't know about that game, but all right. I still like Colorado in this game. It's $1.75. All right, I'm going to take the under here in this one with Colorado and LA. LA's 7-15 to the under as an underdog. These are the games where they really have trouble scoring, and they got to throw the kitchen sink at them just to hang in there. Give me the under 6 goals here with Colorado and the Kings. I can't do it. Can't lay $1.75 on the show twice, okay? All right, let's see here. Hey, I want to say hello and welcome to Young Mooch. Young Mooch, join us in the chat with the chat pros. Thank you to Young Mooch Wish we had more time to spend. LALB likes the over here. Oh, boy. All right, that's going to do it here for Night Moves. Make sure you head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and check out our premium picks over there at Tony's Picks. Hey, I'm still hanging out in the handicapper leaderboards over the last month. I'm up here, 9.25 units. A rough day on Sunday, but be back at it here. College basketball, NBA, NHL. Check out all the cappers over at Tony'sPicks.com. Click on the All Cappers tab, then find the handicapper of your choice. Click on their handicapper profile page, and that's how you get signed up over at Tony's Picks. You know, for those 3-packs, 5-packs, 7-packs, they're all discounted. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off the premium pick packages. Hey, you see me on some other shows, some other channels, but just know that my best picks every day are right here at Tony'sPicks.com. These are where my best picks are. So come on over here. These are my high roller boutique picks. You're not going to want to not go double-fisted to the window with these plays. So check me out. Look at all the sports that I show a profit in so far this season. You'd be hard-pressed to find another capper that's profitable in 7 sports already here this season. We got some great cappers here, but I specialize in some of the one-off sports as well. So make sure you're following me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Hey, it's Monday, so it's a great time to get signed up with the 7-day All Sports Pass. We had a pretty good week. We've had a pretty good month, and you can get my All Sports Premium Pass for just $149 at Tony's Picks. And, usually go upwards of 5, 7, 9 plays a day when it gets to the weekend, even a few more, especially when we're hot. So check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. All right, it's going to do it here for Night Moves. Really appreciate everybody there in the chat and the chat pros helping me along. We had some good picks in there. We'll get back here tomorrow with more Night Moves, and we'll preview more conference tournaments for sure. We're really going here after Monday with more conference tournament action 2 weeks straight. Teams will be dropping off the map here in terms of trying to win a national championship. All right, that's going to do it for Night Moves and for the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 50,000 subscriber juggernaut. I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves from Las Vegas.